Hey y'all, Moses here. I am in beautiful Stockholm, Sweden. I am covering the GLL Season 3 finals. I am not at home for the release of the snow map. I am heartbroken over that, but the patch notes have just come out about half an hour ago. I'm on the European schedule, so I'm up to cover them for you. I'm just going to go over the patch notes, what's been released and what's in the content, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the gameplay today as the Vikendi map has just launched on test servers on PC only. So if you're looking for it on PS4 or on Xbox, you're going to have to wait until the 19th. So let's jump into the patch notes. I'm going to review it, and I've already gone through them once, and there's some good changes in here, so let's jump right through it. I'm not going to read the preamble, but essentially the Vikendi map is now on test servers. You can see a lot of the previews that we saw, the leaks that we saw, are accurate. This is the overall map. There's a lot of interesting viewpoints, or I should say waypoints on this map that you can find. Specifically the Dino Park, we haven't actually seen anything about that yet, but you guys will. I won't because I'm in Sweden. So the gameplay stuff is what I wanted to focus on first. Vikendi is a 6x6 map. The gameplay of Vikendi is quicker than Erangel and Miramar, but offers an arguably more tactical experience than Sanhok. Players can throw snowballs while waiting to board the plane in the waiting area. Vehicles will be more slippery on snow or icy areas. Acceleration on icy terrain is slow, and you lose more general vehicle control as you speed up. Footprints and vehicle tracks will appear as players travel in snow-covered areas, so keep an eye out. And these are great to help identify if enemies have passed by recently. Keep in mind that footprints and tracks in the snow don't stay around forever. So this is kind of an interesting point. I think that the way the footstep system was kind of perceived to work was probably a little bit more complex than what it's described as, whereas I think that footprints that are fresh will probably be visible. I've seen a couple of reviews already on Reddit saying that the footprints are not as visible as you might think, but they are there. So hopefully that footprint system is what you hoped, or at least you can use it tactically in some way. I'm interested to see exactly the pace of this map. It's 6x6, but I think the landmass is very similar to what Erangel is. Again, this will all come out as we learn the map and start to play it. The snowballs, I think, were kind of expected, but is a nice change as well. The red zone, similar to Sandhawk, will only spawn outside of the play zone, and the smaller the play zone, the smaller the red zone. So the red zone changes from Sandhawk will make their way to Vikendi, which is a good thing. As far as the blue zone is concerned, the first circle of every game is much smaller than other maps, but subsequent circle sizes change less drastically. So again, this is kind of a preview of what I've suggested in the past with the competitive circle settings that have a smaller play area to begin with, but also shrink slower. That's a good change, believe me. That adds to the gunplay, especially later in the game where you're not being forced by the circle into bad situations. So they kind of elaborate that where they say similar strategies work on Vikendi to Erangel and Miramar for the first three phases, but the zones will close slower starting from phase 4, similar to Sandhawk. We feel this leads to a good balance between strategy and gunplay throughout the duration of each match. So this is not necessarily the direct copy of competitive settings, but takes some inspiration from Sandhawk's later circles where the circle actually moves slower, allowing you to actually make plays and not get forced into death by the blue zone. So that's a good start. So that's kind of it for the Vikendi aspect. I can't talk more about it because I'm stuck in Sweden and I can't play the damn game. So um, let me know. Let me know in the comments how you find the gameplay of Vikendi. Item spawn balance. So this is a bit of a strange change, but let's go over it. The overall item spawn rate is at a midpoint between our maps, offering a unique pace between the spawn rates of Erangel and Sanhok. Level 3 helmets are back spawning in the world. Level 3 vests spawn more often than other maps, and smoke grenades are spawned at a higher rate compared to other throwables. I don't know why they're putting level 3 helmets back in the world. Not sure why they're doing that. I don't really have any explanation or reasoning why they're doing that. I mean, level 3 helmets going back in the crate was kind of a tactical change to make moving to crates a little bit more enticing. So putting them back in the world is a interesting change. Same with level 3 vest spawning. I'm not sure why they're upping the rate of level 3 gear. Um, and smoke grenades. This is a weird change. I guess maybe smoke grenades are going to be more important on this map, considering the fact that there's probably less foliage and smoke grenades are a tactical item. Smoke grenades are fine. You should be using them anyway, but that's a weird change. All right, so we have a new AR as well. So this is a standard AR 5.56, the G36C. It only spawns in Vikendi, and it has basically all the same attachments as the Scar L does. which is a lower and upper rail and no attachment for stock. It doesn't say that this replaces anything, so I think this will be an addition to the regular loot table. So there's the G36C. Interested to see how that has. I imagine it'll be similar damage to the rest of the 5.56 ARs. It'll probably slot in like any other addition to the AR category has, with similar damage, similar recoil control. We'll see what it handles like. I couldn't tell you. So there's a snowmobile, which was expected. It's a cool looking kind of 80s, early 90s looking snowmobile. It only spawns in Vikendi, obviously. It's a two-seater vehicle and performs much better than the other vehicles on snow and ice, but is more difficult to drive on other terrain. And then there's the replay editor. This is something I'm going to have to learn. This looks quite complex. So this system allows you to create dynamic video clips with creative camera angles and special effects using your replay files. You can also create 3D paths for the cameras and camera angles and export clips. This is going to be great for content creation. I know that Wacky Jackie's big into the cinematics for creating video clips. I wish I had the time to do that kind of stuff, but their tools are available now, so that's good to know. Moving into gameplay changes, we have a couple of interesting things here, specifically the parachute overhaul. So let's talk about that. But before that, there's improved character animations used in the air, and character movements are much more fluid and have been improved to be more realistic. So I'm not sure if these two things are tied together. If the character movements are much more fluid and have been improved to be more realistic, I hope that's an independent change, because that would mean that the movement system has been improved, which would be a sneaky, crazy good change. But I hope that these two things are independent. The air, like I hope that the animations in the air are different than character movements. So I'll be relying on you guys to let me know in the comments if this is the case. So the parachute system, this has been overhauled for this patch. It's not live today. It's coming on the 10th, so in a couple of days. So just keep that in mind. But going into those changes, left shift now puts you into a dive at full speed, moving straight down towards the ground. Turning speed is much faster and has increased control, responsiveness, and precision. Parachuting. So that's just in the free fall stage, I should mention right there. Parachuting. Added new free fall animations and increased overall control and responsiveness. Left shift helps you drop faster and land quicker. Left control lets you glide if you want to travel longer distance. And you can now cut the parachute while relatively close to the ground while still moving through the air. This can be used strategically to get you to your drop point faster, but be careful as you can take damage if you drop too far. So that's kind of a change that, again, that was mentioned in the leaks, that you can cut the parachute close to the ground. This will add to a little bit more control. Having more control while parachuting is actually going to be a good thing, because it can be very annoying getting stuck on stuff and landing off of where you expect, or bouncing off stuff and gliding. So being able to cut the parachute is great. There's new landing animations. The speed in which you land matters, as landing too fast may force your character into a roll or to roll for longer before you can gain full control of your movement. I'm kind of thinking of a time where you might hit the ground moving too fast, you just tumble like a rag doll. That would be kind of funny. But just be careful, it says here, when colliding with buildings or objects while parachuting, because now it'll automatically cut your parachute, and the parachute can no longer disappears instantly after landing, so there will be, I guess, parachutes on the ground for a short time. So just overall improvement to the parachute system, which was needed. We've used the same parachute system for a long time. There's been small changes here and there, but this will be a nice change to a relatively important part of the game. I mean, controlling how you drop and having more precision over that will add, again, another layer to a very skill-based system. Improve the blood hit effects. Improve the visual of blood particles when players are shot. Improve the visuals of blood effects that appear on screen when shot by other players. And this is another interesting change. They slightly increased the delay between shots for the M16. This reads to me as a nerf, a further nerf to an already pretty bad gun. So they've increased the delay between shots. I don't know if they've also adjusted the recoil properties at all, but I'll be waiting for Wacky Jackie's video on that one. Players now receive damage from Molotovs that hit their vehicle. Molotovs that hit around the vehicle or when driven through an already exploded Molotov will not damage those inside. So if you throw a Molotov at a vehicle, apparently it'll now do damage to them, which is a cool change. I mean, it's realistic that if you throw a fire into someone's passenger window, that they'd burn. So there's that. The survival title system. This is the new ranked system. Is also going to be included in the test server. We knew that already. If you want to see the details, I'll leave a link to the dev letter talking about the new ranking system in the description down below. This is I want to wait until I'm home to talk about the new rank system and play with it a little bit, but you can read the details in the link I'll provide. The UI overhaul was not as drastic as I expected. it's basically just a new lobby theme, and they've made improvements to how the store feature works. So it's too bad. I was hoping that we would get like a totally fresh new UI, as I hoped would be the case, considering some of the language used in the leaks. But they've essentially just changed how the lobby looks and have kind of simplified some aspects of how you can get into the game. So specifically around the play menu, I'm not going to talk about the store changes because that's probably a hot topic for you guys, but they've improved the map and game mode selection UI, so you can see here there is no grouping map selection. You can still pick each map individually. The quick join option will obviously have all 4 maps in the rotation. And aside from that, the training mode will be in a new spot here next to the, instead of having its own little link, it's now a part of the play menu. Now talking about performance changes, they've optimized foliage and vegetation rendering, improved CPU performance by optimizing the object creation process, um, improved GPU performance for medium and low options by adjusting graphic quality related to the post-processing with those settings tuned. Okay, hopefully the game runs better. And there's some bug fixes in here. Um, this I think is a kind of important one. I don't. This is probably one of those things that I would probably only notice if I was playing. But they fixed an issue where each weapon had a different delay between reloading and being able to fire. So I guess, does that mean that every weapon has the same reload speed? I don't think that's the case. I imagine it's just the delay between finishing the reload and being able to fire. That's a good change. It'll be nice to have some consistency there. And they've also fixed an issue that caused vehicles sometimes pass through players when rolling down a hill. Fixed an issue which prevented the system menu from opening when clicking a specific spot on the button. Um, just a little, nothing crazy in here at all. So yeah, this is a big patch, but it's less than I thought it was going to be. Now, obviously, this is the testing period. Hopefully, as this test continues, it's going to go on for roughly 2 weeks. It's going to go from today, December 7th, until the 19th, where Vikendi releases on all the platforms. Um, we get a lot of new content. Having a new map, obviously, because I don't get to play it, is not as impactful to me as some of the other changes I was hoping for. But no mention of Erangel loot, for instance. This is really a Vikendi-centric patch, which is to be expected. This is what they're trying to test. I'm very excited to have some new content to play with, especially a new weapon, a new vehicle. The spawn balance is a little bit of a question mark for me, but overall, this is a big new piece of content that I hope a lot of people get to enjoy. I'm excited to play it and understand now how some of these little changes, specifically around character movement and the parachuting system, is going to affect overall gameplay. Hopefully, this review is enough for you guys to chew on while you're getting up or going to work or before you get home to try the test server, or if you're just going to wait until it all hits live to play it. But again, guys, I'm traveling. I'll be away from home for the next 2 weeks. So sorry I can't provide you some snow map gameplay and some reviews and stuff like that, but as soon as I get home, we'll be able to do that. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch. If you have any comments, leave one down below. If you like the video, leave a like. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses, where eventually I will be playing the snow map. And you can talk to me on Twitter at twitter.com/wtfmoses. Thank you guys. Can't wait to get home. And until next time, I'll see you out there.